if we go back to the time of when Jesus was being arraigned and then finally executed, you realize that the legal state, the Roman civil system, uh, basically crossed the line. They found no fault with him. They said, this is a just man. He wanted to let him go, Pontius. But the people said, no, kill him. Basically, crucify him, execute him. And so Pontius, of course, washes his hands clean of it, steps out of the way, even though he was guilty of it because he was aware that he was even violating their own laws because he said he found no fault, no error, no blemish in him. So he was obligated at that point to let him free, but decided to let out a criminal. And symbolically, just to let you know, this is what's released into the world that people become the surety for, because the situation that occurred there with Pontius, he left it up to the people. Now, the people were not in authority to execute anybody at the time. The nation of Israel was basically under Roman bondage, and the Romans had removed the ability for them to execute anybody of their nation. It was only up to the Romans to do so. And so, in that situation, when Pontius basically had declared Jesus innocent, and then the next minute is throwing him to the mob to be killed, we realized there's a problem going on where the state had crossed the line on something that was God's. It's very similar to what we've talked about on the statement of birth record, that the innocent child that had no cause at all to be involved in this was placed on the record and then accused of being part of touching or trespassing on Caesar's property. But the interesting outcome of Jesus' trial was that the people said, that denied the Messiah, they said that the blood will be on them. They took on the onus. The blood will be on us and our children's children. So what they basically did was they took on the debt as the people. So it's interesting that in the United States, as we've mentioned in previous videos, in order to become an American under their oath of allegiance, you have to renounce any at all loyalty to a foreign prince, which Jesus Christ is a foreign prince. He certainly has nothing to do with the United States of America. So when we look at that, you can see the fact that it's always we the people that seems to come up in discussion on documents to do with legal actions. It's we the people. So they're always, basically, in a sense, crossing the line and taking the responsibility of the debt for them denying Jesus Christ as their king and the supreme sovereignty. So we have to kind of look at it down that line, and when we realize that everything is a constitution, which is an act of state. Now, when we look up the word constitution, which gets used so loosely, constitution is defined as the act setting up or making up, establishment, appointment, or formation. The way in which a thing is made up. It sounds like make-believe, made up. So the way something is made up. So now when you look at who would be responsible for this constitution, well, whether you call it the Crown, Canada, or Majesty, the constitutor is he who promised by a simple pact to pay the debt of another. Now, certainly I could not have been responsible as a child, neither could have you been responsible. So who would be responsible, in essence, to pay the debt if I was not intermingling myself to take it on myself? Well, it would be the state. So the state has the ultimate responsibility for secular matters. But when a spiritual individual intermingles, becomes unequally yoked with unbelievers by claim, takes over a bond that shows that they're involved, then basically they're on the hook. And the only way out of this is to let the state look after what belongs to them, and then you can operate in rest and peace with what is yours.